Good day everyone, I am Mary Grace Lanusa and I will be discussing photographic lighting. Lighting. It is said that lighting is the most important part of photography. There are different kinds of lighting: morning light, harsh lighting, shade lighting, cloud lighting, evening light, and low lighting. So let's start first with morning light. Morning light, because of the less sunlight, it is a beautiful time to take photos. So here are some of the examples. Sun is low in the sky, so it's nice and soft. You will not have a contrast problem. Shadows are not too dark. It is beautiful in photography. We will move on to harsh lighting. Because of the too much sunlight, harsh lighting is not a good time for taking photos. So here are some of the examples. The sun is too strong and you'll get contrast problem. Shadow becomes jet black. Your highlight becomes too bright. Becomes too bright at the top and too dark underneath. You'll end up with top lighting, which means you get shadow on the eye socket of people. Next is the shade lighting. It is a better way to take photos because you don't have any contrast problem. And here's the example. If you take a photo in the middle of the day, better find a shade. So, as you can see, it is much better than this one. So, next is the cloud lighting. A good time of taking photos because there is no harsh sunlight. So here are some of the examples. Flattering kind of light, that nice silhouette. Next is the evening light. Sun is not too stubborn, gives a 3D effect on the photo. So here's the example. Next is the low light. Does not have much light and are tricky to deal with. So here's the example. Next is, so let's define direction. The angle of light on your subject as seen from camera is one of the most important concerns in portrait photography. Another important factor of lighting is not just the quality of the light, but the direction that it's coming from that affects the shadow that you see. Next is the basic types of lighting direction: top lighting, side lighting, front lighting, back lighting, and the bottom lighting. Let's start with the top lighting. Top lighting is the most common form of lighting direction. It often gives high contrast unless the subject is on a light toned base. Here's the example of top lighting. Yan. Next is side lighting. Side lighting from either side of the subject is sometimes known as hot-set lighting because of tendency to divide the image half. So here's the example of side lighting. Reveals shape and texture through the shadow. It is good to portrait. Next is the front lighting. Front lighting from the direction of the camera gives little contrast because there are very few shadows. So, here's an example of front lighting. Subject is completely illuminated. There was no shadow. So, it is good if you want to see the small details. The worst about front lighting is it looks flat and two-dimensional. You can see the shape of things. So, let's move on to backlighting. Backlighting offers the most dramatic of effects as it can add dimension of excitement to the eventual image. Light coming from behind the subject casts shadow towards the camera, produces bright edge around the subject, and makes translucent subject like lid seems to glow. So, here's an example of backlighting. Yan. Backlighting. So, if you use it, you'll end up with dark silhouette, and to fix it, you just need use exposure compensation. After you learn the right way of taking backlighting, you can have a wonderful result. So, yan. So, next is the bottom lighting. It's rarely encountered in natural conditions. It can thus seem unusual and sometimes bizarre. So, here's an example of bottom lighting. Next is the types of flash. Flash bulb, electronic flash, photo flash. So, let's start with the flash bulb. Are artificial light sources that make the light by burning certain metals in an atmosphere of oxygen. Here's the example. Yan. So, next is the electronic flash. Electronic flash. It's a method of making light by passing an electronic current through a glass bulb containing a gas. So, here's an example of electronic flash. Yan. So, next tayo is photo flash. The most economical artificial light to use, the one that can produce the most careful result. So, yan po yung photo flash. Next up po tayo is flash synchronization. Flash synchronization, it is important that the flash happens at exactly the same moment in line that the camera shutters is open. This is called synchronization. So, this an example of synchronization. Yan po. This is with the first one is without flash and the second one is with flash. Next is the type of synchronization. X synchronization, M synchronization, and the sync-sun exposure. So, let's start with the X synchronization. X synchronization, first flash at the instant the shutter is fully open. Next is M synchronization, first flash bulb about 1/10 of a second before the camera shutter is fully open. And the last one is sync-sun exposure. Using flash of fill in the same shadows is called sync-sun in photography because flash and sunlight are synchronized together. So this is an example of sync-sun exposure. Yan po. So that's all. Thank you for listening.